What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. Today continues our horror-themed month as we dive into a Gene Stealer versus Adeptus Astartes story entitled The Ascension. So before we dive in, I want to remind you guys to like, comment, and subscribe so you guys can stay up to date on all things 40K here at One Mind Syndicate. So without further ado, let's dive right in. The clouds burned as God forced his way through the atmosphere. He watched with awe. She watched with fear. He was Quinnis, Magus of the Congregation of the Exalted Sun, and she was Arbites Helena of Cambridge Hive, 3rd Precinct. Moments ago, they had been at one another's throats, Helena's last gun blasting a chunky, dripping hole in Quinnis' side, and Quinnis' bone blade hurried deep into her shoulder. Corpses of their seconds lay strewn around them. Cultists and troopers alike fell in a fever dream of a battle that had lasted weeks. Quinnis and Helena had spent most of their lives plotting one another's downfall, starting small with arrests and investigations, and slowly gaining momentum and becoming assassination attempts, bombings, poisonings, and any number of other underhanded tactics. Helena had risen through the ranks of the Arbites by exposing the Exalted Sun as a power-hungry criminal empire. Their true nature always eluded her. She'd never heard of the word Tyranid before, and had no comprehension of what terrible secret lay beyond the cult. For that matter, neither did Quinnis. He only knew that he served a greater purpose. Driven by God's imminent arrival, he upped his cat-and-mouse game with the Arbites into a full-blown war. Helena welcomed the violence. If the congregation wanted war, it only meant she'd be able to kill them more openly. The final gambit of the Arbites drew the bulk of the cultists to an abandoned enclave overlooking the Hive city. Thinking this to be an emergency governance bunker, they were greeted with the full force of the Arbites' hardened soldier police. Far from the Hive, this battleground gave the rivals a perfect view of the Tyranid arrival. Here they both stood, weapons now hanging at their sides. Their righteous fury that once drove them both shrank before the vision of a Tyranid bioship blanketing the cityscape in shadow and fire. "So you've won," Helena wondered aloud. "Apparently," said Quinnis, who couldn't take his eyes off of the arrival. Her helmet weighed heavy. Her displays blinked crimson and amber, warning runes, updated casualty lists, and inscribed reports of horrors as the things from the sky began to consume her world. She reached to her jawline and unclipped her support strap, allowing the helmet of office to slide from her brow and casually drop to the blood-strewn ground. It landed softly, mud loosely splashing over her Adeptus Astartes badge. "Would you care to sit?" she asked in all sincerity. "Can we just talk?" The oddity of the request was startling. Quinnis assumed it was just a ploy. Humans did love to struggle in the face of hopelessness. He turned, tensed and ready for combat, only to be greeted by her sad, smiling face. Matted sweat stained her hair, flowing in the wind. Her eyes were dark. He had never seen them before, never seen her without her helm. There was a vulnerability he could never have expected. Most of all, maybe the strangest offer in a galaxy whose engine runs on the eternal wheel of blood. Peace. "I want to understand you before I die," she said. "Of course," he acquiesced. The stim injection hissed. Her skin sizzled as the med spray sealed her wound with superheated foam. She offered her other med kit to Quinnis, who waved it away. "Hell of a wound to just walk it off. What are you, mutant? Xenos?" she asked. "Xenos, I assume. I am just one small part of the Godhead. I never took you for a true believer. I thought you were a con man." She watched him flinch. That seemed to wound Quinnis. He paused, considering how to best respond to this. "How were you selected for your position, Arbites?" he wondered. "I was gene-bred for traits that favored law and order, then proved myself through deed and devotion into the Lex Imperialis." She tried to take pride in that statement. She did not. "Ah, so we're alike." I was designed to love the Godhead and spirit this world to Ascension. He saw the defeat in her eyes and tried to cheer her up. I do find it beautiful that even the non-believer will be rewarded. All the fighting we did over the years, you'll ascend right along with me. When you say, ascend, what do you mean? We will be rendered down to base matter and absorbed into the Godhead to be reconstituted as other, more perfect beings. The joy in his voice shook her to her core. What about free will? Even you have to understand that not everyone wants this. She waved her hand at the violence playing around before them. Enlightenment is compulsory, but don't tell me that your Imperium is any freer. You're a lawgiver, an enforcer. Your office is proof that you don't believe in free will. You bully and butcher others to follow your Lex Imperialis. The Godhead does the same, but in a cleaner, more peaceful way. I can hear the screams from here, Quinnis. Oh yes, there's violence now. Your way would see terror spread across generations without end. Your children and their children would all suffer and die in darkness. With Ascension, you and I will become part of the beings that know harmony and peace. We'll work together, and our children will sing with a single voice. In time, the entirety of this galaxy will sing with them, and then it will be saved. Does that help you understand the gift we will bring? You just found fancy words to explain to me that I'll be eaten and die. His lips quivered. Her hatred cut him deep. Quinnis reached out, gently touching her hand, taking it as a preacher would in prayer with a congregant. I know you don't believe, Arbaidi, but we're the heroes of the story. We're the saviors of the galaxy, and we love you. The world darkened above them as a swarm of white, acidic grubs descended. They tore the Arbaidi apart from the inside out. Quinnis never let go of her hand. He truly did hope that she would find peace in the Godhead. As always, guys, thank you for watching and stay subscribed for more things Warhammer 40K. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.